Fuck you.
Fuck you, kid.
Do you guys hear that?
This is like a really good false start.
It's all good. I can trim this and we can start right now. All right, welcome guys to the Halo Dickheads podcast. We are chilling here and we are going over Halo news. We're going over Halo settings, competitive, all kinds of stuff today. And I want to start off, we were talking earlier before the podcast about some unconventional, unofficial rules. One of them is don't go P3. And you'll
Never go.
Shardicles is here. I see you. Everybody says that's good audio. Yes, thank you. We can hear
my
everybody.
main man Shart in the chat.
We got Shardicles. We got DJ Gary, Death Rays here, Turbo Waddy. We got a lot of people here. But yeah, we're there's fun little things like in communities where we agreed not to go P3. You know, obviously you'd see that in tournaments and stuff, but you know, it's one of those unspoken things. There's other maps with other spots as well, but before we get into the settings, we're going to talk about news in Halo Infinite. I have a few things. One of them is that the lead multiplayer developer just left Halo Infinite. And we're talking about who would be possible to replace this person in order for Halo's future to look good. And on Twitter, I nominated Uncut Fighter. I apologize for sending in, like I said like earlier before the podcast, I apologize for sending in your resume without asking, but you know, we need people like him in these positions, or Goatman. Imagine Goatman getting in there, Uncut.
For archival quality.
You know, I think my first day on the job, I would get one of those long boardroom table, like meeting tables, and I'd walk behind everybody with a baseball bat, and I'd be like, just like standing behind everyone. And be like, we're gonna make some changes around here.
For archival quality, like
just set it like on somebody's shoulder.
It might have to actually come to that, right? Because 343 has alienated everyone else who would be, you know, like an instant pick for it. I was talking about Ghost Ayami. He's done a lot of work during like Halo 4. Obviously, he knows quite a lot about Halo. He did the D-Scope stuff. He made the competitive playlists. And they actually hired him for the company, for the pro team. And I'm pretty sure he's since left. In fact, I'm 100% sure that he left before Halo 5, I believe, or right around the launch period. Mm-hmm. They had Neighbor working there, and he left in protest of, like, I believe Sprint staying in Halo 5.
Wow.
He tweeted about that. Yeah, so they've alienated pretty much every pro player that they've cycled through. Yeah. Those are just two that I can think of off the top of my head. There's been, like, at least 15 or 20 that they've tried to.
Yeah.
No,
so it'll have to go down to, like, community managers of other projects. So like the OGCE guys, Uncut Fighter, they'll have to try them because they haven't been up to the bat yet. And then after that, it's like, let's try Go Manjaro. Let's try anyone.
At the bottom of the list.
Well, no, you're still on the list.
I guess I'm at the very bottom of the top of the list.
Well, you have experience, but like I'll put it to you this way: you have experience game testing. And you have experience building some aspects of the game, but we got to admit, like Uncut is like extremely experienced in game programming.
He's the last person who, or one of the last few people who's like qualified just to step in and do that. Right?
I know.
After that, we're gonna have to get into like,
even if it's a different engine, I feel like he would know enough about what to do. Yeah. Honestly,
no, he like Uncut understands the game on a code level.
Yeah,
so I know what he's capable of. He's definitely has my vote.
But in terms of community manager, I think Goatman would be the best pick.
Yeah. I think I would have to. I would have to be a special. I wouldn't be like part of the coding. I would have like a special place in the development of the game. It'd be mostly based off of feel. I'd be like, this feels like shit. Fix it.
That would be my job.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just walk around with my cup of coffee and be like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to stay on Sunday. Yeah.
These skins, they're not looking like I want them.
This 10 sensitivity feels like I'm playing on 2. Yeah, you're gonna have to turn that the fuck up if you want to keep your job. Thanks.
I feel like that already like happens to a degree. The people that are designers or directors or whatever in various positions, I'm sure there's multiplayer designer, director, what have you, whatever his official title was. A lot of what they do is like looking at things and saying if it's vice or not vice. Some people who've looked at film. There on Miami Vice, there was a guy who was like the Vice consultant. He would go look at scenes and say if it's Vice or not Vice. So there's probably people walking around saying like, is this Halo or not Halo?
Yeah.
And I feel like the people either don't know if it's Halo or not, and they're just kind of going off the top of their head, or they say this is not Halo, and then somebody says you won't have a job if it's not Halo.
Yeah,
and they go, well, shit,
me.
I have a million kids now. So.
Yeah, that's where GOAT needs to come into play.
And be like, is it goated or not goated?
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, don't
walk
just.
Me around.
And then I would respond with, is it profitable or have we killed the franchise again? And then I would get fired even faster. But like, man, is it successful or is it not successful?
Well, that's what that's what people got to realize is stop firing people that don't suck your dick.
Yeah.
Like, you have to realize that you're here because people are sucking your dick and afraid to say anything. And so we keep making the same shit game and expecting different results. Like, goddamn, how many times are we going to make Halo 5? Like, fuck. Like, you know, or it's just like, why are you going to go back and make the same? Like, honestly, you could have put Halo 5 on the title and I would have not known the difference. Like, it looks like the same fucking game to me. Am I crazy or did they just like repackage it?
No, they didn't change shit back. So let's get into this. Let's explain how it's different right now. Let's get into this.
Halo
This is what the whole episode is
the aiming worse.
Yeah, the aiming is worse, and it just looks like a Halo 5 map pack that we're playing on. That's free. Like that's like,
yeah.
like, am I crazy or what? Like,
no, you're right about
slightly
that.
more high def Halo 5.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how and why it's different. Let's go back to the base history of all things. We're gonna, as Goatman says, what are we bringing out? What are we bringing out this episode? The ancient what?
Oh, the ancient scrolls.
That's right. We have in our possession.
Oh my god! I have to find them now. I
thought you had them on hand already.
Oh no, yeah, I got them right here in my back pocket, man.
Yeah,
I keep them folded up next to my fucking.
We were doing prep. I thought we had it. All right. Anyway, let me.
Nothing in my life is prepped, man.
So
I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late for my own funeral, man.
Let's start off here. We got a compiled list of FFA 1v1, 2v2, and 4v4 MLG settings. I got the 2006 Halo CE rules right here. Do you guys have anything newer or excuse me, older than that off the top of your heads?
No.
Because I know 50K1 and 50K2 had different rule sets, I'm sure.
Wait. So
I was gonna say I know a lot of like anecdotal stories from like reading forums and stuff about some events.
What are we like? What are we trying to get at here? Like, I can give you the settings, but they're going to be very like just shit settings. You know, like Carbine start, Gemini. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're talking comp settings, like what money was played for a lot back in the day. So if we want to start with CE, at least in my experience, when I went to events and a lot of the pros, like in the Halo 3 days when I was going to events a lot, when pros would try to settle 1v1s like live on LAN, like in the hotel rooms and shit, they would bust out CE and you would play CE on disc in 1v1s. And it would be pistol starts with AR in the back pocket. And then you would, usually was hang 'em high a lot of the times. And then sometimes, not Warlock, but Wizard? Excuse me.
Yep, bust out
Wizard.
Reading glasses.
Yeah, I'm bad for that too. I always manage to say the wrong map name.
Yeah, I'm such a Halo 2 fucking dork. Oh, Goat has it. There it is.
No, I'll literally always say the wrong name.
Yeah,
like
right.
I've never once called Warlock in Halo 2. I've always called it Wizard. Somehow I was playing like Ivory Tower and calling it like Reflection, and I think I've played like 100 games Reach my whole life. And it's like I just can't do it.
Right.
Can't mentally.
Yeah.
We all know the palm tree business building one.
Listen to these 4v4 prize. This 4v4 prize money rank. First place prize for the point system. First place is $2,500 for first place 4v4. Second place is $1,500. Third place is $1,000.
This was an MLG event.
This is an MLG event. Oh god!
I'm sure that
we
sounds
did it
low
for the
to
fucking glory, guys. Do you hear those numbers? We didn't do it to be the next fucking ninja, okay?
I'm sure that sounds really low, and it is really low. But like, if you wanted to be good at this game, and it was on the same coast of like the US that you were on, it's not that expensive to get to the event, right? Like I don't travel that much in the US. I'm not I haven't lived there for a long time, but if it's in your state or only like 1 or 2 states away, a couple bucks of gas, a hotel, you want to play anyway. You don't end up winning, you're down like $75, $100. That's not too bad.
Yeah, especially since you can network there and you can actually test your fucking might and know where you really stand. Like the MLG events, like the reason why, we hold them in such regard in the community is because that's where it was actually at. There was no lag. There was no fucking bullshit. There was no excuses. That was the standard. You go there, that's where you fucking stand. That's what you're known as. Your points were your definition.
Free-for-all tournaments. Free-for-all. Settings and rules. Number 1, all settings listed below are those for not default or not default for Slayer. 50 kills to win. So free-for-all tournament was 50 kills to win.
It wasn't timed, yeah.
It wasn't timed. 20-minute round time limit.
Fucking BKs. You
That
can't
would
get
have to
kills
be,
in 20 minutes, kid?
20-minute time limit. 10-second suicide penalty. Battle rifles starting weapon. Double weapon spawn time on Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek used to be a free-for-all map. Use of sword is prohibited for the FFA and will result in disqualification. It says, but the sword can be used in all team games.
Wow, I didn't know that for the free-for-all. I thought they just changed it to like human variant or something.
They eventually got around to that on midship with the shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. They just you couldn't use the sword, but eventually they figured out, well, why don't we just make it human weapon?
Yeah, so these were the 05 settings then.
Yeah. Yeah, these are 05 settings. But this is the brackets. Round 1, Slayer Beaver Creek. Round 2, Slayer Midship. 3, Beaver Creek. 4, Midship. 5, Beaver Creek. 6, Midship.
Wow.
So
no
Beaver
lockout.
Creek, Beaver Creek, and Midship. Yeah, there was no lockout free for all. Like I don't know why kids are always trying to play free for all and lockout.
Lockout
that wasn't
is
a thing.
BR Snipes map, and I'll always advocate that. It is not a free for all map.
But you just play because it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
It is actually enjoyable as an FFA map, but it's not competitive at all.
Yeah, it's not comp.
Yeah. This will result in the free-for-all tournament in which all players participate. All players participate in the free-for-all. Rounds 1 through 5 will give 8 players with the top 4 advancing. 6 is the finals. 4v4 teams will be ranked for pool play based on their cumulative FFA performance.
Yep.
And this is what I always preach to everybody. Everyone's always talking about, "God, man, I don't want to play free-for-all. My fingers hurt." Right? I'm like, bro, back in the day, you had to play free-for-all.
Yep.
Everyone played free-for-all. And based on how you played in free-for-all...
That was the draft.
That was your draft for where you are on the bracket. If you did really good, your team is in a much higher part of the bracket. If your team is shit at free-for-all, you're going to be at the bottom. And that's going to be a long...
Pro tip, guys, for up-and-coming gamers, if you go to these kind of combines and they have these free-for-all things, do it because the pro players are scouting. I got picked up by TC Ant and some other people that were top 16 back in the day solely based on my FFA performance. I didn't win and have the most kills, but I'll tell you what I did have. Top 4 and least deaths, best KD. And guess who they chose?
Yep.
Just saying. Keep going.
Yep.
Sorry.
kids get scouted in free-for-all
all the time. It's the best place to get noticed. Trust. Don't waste your time. Go with a 4, but go hard in the free-for-all. You'll never know who you meet.
Yeah. If anything, kids will play you in 4s and be like, "Oh, fuck that kid. This, that, the map, the lag. He got lucky."
Yeah.
But if you're like smoking kids on free-for-all, people are like, "Yo, who is this guy? He's finishing those kills. We got to get him on the team."
It's the proving ground. Yep.
Yeah.
Play your free-for-alls, kid. Babe, I'm doing the podcast right now. I can't do the Nathan explosion stuff. We'll do the voice redemption later. Just remind me.
All game types, round time limit is 20 minutes. You know, like how we all like run 15-minute. Is it 15 minutes? We all
15.
run to 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah, back. Yeah.
Halo 3 was 15.
Back then, all game types are 20 minutes.
12?
Resolve of ties is off. Suicide penalty 10 seconds. Motion sensors off. Team changing is off, obviously. Starting weapon, battle rifle, starting weapon. Team Slayer snipers, Colossus and Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
So Colossus and Sanctuary used to be there was an MLG setting where Team Snipers was
on
actually at the event. I remember that because I remember watching the Yogurts get their cheeks clapped on lockout in a snipers game. I was like, oh shit!
There's still a couple of VODs. Somebody correct me if I'm mistaken, but when the real ones did a LAN, I think that they also I don't remember if it was for anything, but they did do some TS matches too.
So
with
starting
competitive settings. I could be misremembering that though. Don't quote me on that.
So on Team Slayer's snipers, the starting weapon was the sniper rifle. The secondary weapon was battle rifle.
Yeah, BR snipes.
And then weapons on the map were sniping. Team Slayer snipers. Team Slayer snipers Zanzibar.
Yep,
that was a thing. Starting weapon. Yeah, starting weapon sniper, secondary beam rifle. So no BR on Zanzibar.
It was too big.
It was sniper.
Colossus had BR range though for finishes, whereas sorry, go on. I just remember talking about all this back in the day.
Yeah, no light vehicle, no secondary light vehicle. Turrets are off. And then sniper beam, weapons on map sniping. Team Slayer rifles, starting weapon BR, weapons on map rifles.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So there's I guess your secondary could be a carbine, but you couldn't
I remember. Is there the 1v1 settings in there with carbine starts?
So I was gonna say, are we gonna talk about carbine starts?
That's why I played money for back in the day.
Yep.
Oh, we're getting to that. We're getting to that. Okay. So there's a Team Slayer rifles and there's a Team Slayer human. That's interesting.
Yeah, the human one was conventional Team Slayer, I believe.
Yeah. So no, it was starting weapon BR, weapons on map human.
Didn't they do that for midship?
So hear this out.
Okay.
There's a Team Slayer rifles that's BR, weapons on map rifles, but there's also a Team Slayer human that's BR and weapons on map human.
Weren't those specific for specific maps?
I'm guessing so. As it breaks down into it, I think it's going to tell you
which maps use what setting. Yeah,
Because there's also a Team Slayer Covenant midship and Gemini. Check this out.
Gemmy.
Starting midship, starting weapon, carbine.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Weapons on map, Covenant.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So if you played midship or if you played Gemini and you were in the MLG pro circuit, you show up in T squared's on the other side of your TV. You guys are going to be playing midship carbine with Covenant weapons. And after you out carbine him, you can hand him some toilet paper and tell him to go clean himself up.
This sounds ridiculous, but this is going to relate to a point after we talk about the Halo 3 rules.
Yeah.
The diversity of the rules I think is super interesting in CE and 2.
Oh yeah,
so
it changed.
Remember,
you
guys, this is 2005, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're on MySpace. All right.
Got our top 8s.
We're playing our guitar in drop D, and we're slaying with the carbine on midship.
A lot of System of a Down covers.
Yeah. All right.
Yo, let me bring something up though, real quick. Off the top of my head,
I got one more. One more
sorry,
setting
go
at the
ahead.
bottom,
Sorry.
if you want. Team Slayer Covenant Warlock.
I was going to talk about that too. I was
that
hoping
was 1v1 settings. I remember.
All right, here we go. Starting weapon carbine.
Yep.
Weapons on map Covenant. Weapon respawn time double time. Double kick base. There you go. Written from the ancient scrolls themselves.
I'm trying to remember whose POV it is. I've seen Karma or something playing with a carbine on Warlock, and I was just completely befuddled by that. I remember, and then I found the VOD.
Yep, here it is in black and white. This is the official rules, boys and girls.
Did they ever force you to play as an elite? I think that would be so much more thematic.
Blue
Imagine
team
that.
playing as dinosaurs.
Yeah, Dino
Let's get
Slayer.
this game started.
You have to play humans versus elites, actually. Host gets elites first.
Wait, hold on a sec. Let me see
Anyways,
if I
I'm
can
putting
find
this
this.
shit away.
Halo, HP.
There you go. There's a little bit of knowledge.
Knowledge. Okay, wait a minute. I think I found it.
What are you looking for?
The Halo National Championship Finals, the first ever national Halo tournament ever.
Imagine playing midship and just having carbines. Oh my god! I just think I'd die of cancer right there on the spot.
You got all the knowledge emotes in the chat going off.
It's not
It's knowledge.
I'm trying to say
Okay.
carbine because I know you guys are American. I always say carbine, but the carbine in Halo 2 would not be as infuriating as playing like Carbine Slayer in Halo 3, because at least it doesn't just go everywhere. I will say that.
All right, yo,
If you're playing Carbine,
here's the settings for the first ever Halo tournament. This was the semifinals.
Of a Halo Slayer Pro Deathmatch. Players will begin with 200% health, and the game will be played until one player accumulates 25 kills. At that time, the game will end. The players will be ranked according
wasn't
to
that
the
like
Halo scoring system.
what was
with the
it?
top
First
four
to
advancing
25
the
with like
national
plasma
finals
pistol
match
starts or
later
map
tonight.
default.
All right, so here's the it's the game mode is Slayer Pro, so you get like, pistol AR. You have 200% health. It's first to 25, and the scoring is
200%
Halo
health.
scoring. Now that was for the semifinals.
What's the scoring? Sorry.
It's called Halo scoring, so it's like 1 point per kill or whatever, -1 for suicide
death,
or
okay.
whatever. Let me find part 3 when they show the finals setting, because it's a little different if I'm not mistaken. It was on Beaver Creek. Oh no, it was the one before it for this. The one before it was on Beaver Creek. The last map was on fucking Coagulation or Blood Gulch. It was free for all on fucking Blood Gulch. And let me try to find the exact settings here. Okay, here we go. Yep, players 8, Slayer Pro. Wait, why is it doing the same thing? This isn't. I thought he had like fucking 40 kills this game though. Hold on.
He can keep this
There's
up.
no way.
Van C and really be running.
Time for a short period of time.
Yeah,
He had
okay,
20 kills.
so
Yes.
I think it might be Halo scoring is like headshots or something. First to 25 headshots maybe? Because Darkman has like fucking
a short period of
50
time that he
kills
was
at the end of this
Let's not get
series.
taken down by strange pulls right now.
Mob
He
Master is
just took down
currently-
DM for 48.
So maybe it's
Mob
2
Master's
points per kill.
currently
I'm
in
not
second
sure.
place.
Yeah,
That's
Mob
hella
Master's
weird.
in second place with 30. HP Darkman has 49 kills. He is 1 kill away from being the Halo National Champion.
Yeah, so
my.
he's
He is
1
up
kill
on
away
top
from
of
being the
the
Halo
others.
National
He's
Champion. So
running down
50
on his
kills, I
own.
guess. But on the slide it says 25 when they're talking the intro on it. And there's no shields. Okay, here it is. Championship rules. 8 players, Slayer Pro, 200% health, 50 kills, Halo scoring, no shields. On fucking
playing
Blood
SWAT.
Gulch.
On Blood Gulch with 8 people.
8 people, Blood Gulch, Slayer Pro, 200 health, no shields. That was the world's first Halo National Championship settings.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Holy fucking shit.
There were tournaments that we'd consider to have like more normal settings. Like I'm sure there was still some bullshit where it's like, oh, map default on fucking Derelict or whatever, and you get Plasma Pistol, or map default on Blood Gulch or whatever. But like normal maps for the most part, they are pistol. But the last map was between like Blood Gulch CTF and Sidewinder CTF. So there's like recorded games where I think it was like Walshy and Killer N, whoever they were teaming with at the time. I don't know if their full team was sorted at the time, but they played all these like normal Slayer games, just pistoling people on fucking Wizard and that, and then or Battle Creek, whatever, and then the last map is okay. Now go capture flags on fucking Sidewinder, and apparently I think Killer N and one of Killer N's friends were like bro, we play this all the time, bro. We got this. They just capped all the flags in like 2 minutes. There's some retarded anecdote about that on like a forum.
You can throw the flag from the OS camo pocket in the cave to your other base. So they would just run the hog and fucking just run, or ghost, whatever they would pick up, because you could drive with the flag back in the day. Mm-hmm. So if that was on there,
you can drive with the ghost with the flag.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then fuck, what else? So you look back and you have all these like newer kind of competitive people from like Halo 3 and on. G Fuel, there it is.
Did I drink this? It's been sitting here for like it's been sitting here for like 2 days, but you think it's still good?
No. It's bacterial growth, bro. That's fucking gross. No. It's standing water. Think about it. I was really drunk last night and I was going to drink this. No. I'm glad I didn't. And you wonder why you keep getting sick.
I know. I just got over the fucking flu.
I got this terrible stomach bug. I keep drinking 2-day-old G Fuel. I don't know what's going on. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just gonna lie.
All I've been doing is drinking coffee, eating Whopper meals, and I don't feel good.
Why don't I feel good?
And I live in Seattle where there's no vitamin D from the sky. I don't feel good.
Gotta get down to Sac, bro. Get some Hot Boys chicken in you. Start eating out here.
I know. I should just buy my plane ticket to go back like now. That way, like it's not super expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, that flight home was fucking terrible, man. Fuck.
Oh yeah, because you had to wake up hella early and then like be awake for all that shit and.
Oh, dude, I literally wanted to die.
Deal with all those fucks.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They give you the pat down that you like, man, at the airport.
Oh, Goat gets the full body massage pat down.
The cup of the balls with the.
Yeah. No, I swear for years, like every time I was going
at the American Express Lounge.
Every airport that I was going through for years, I would carry like just like a million laptops and shit in a bag. So it's like, oh, this guy's gonna blow up the plane for sure. So I would get like pat down. One time they lost my passport, and I was like, so what's going on? Are you sending me to Guantanamo Bay? And they gave it back, like fingerprints, everything, man.
My God.
That's why I left the fucking States. That shit was retarded.
You should get a nice big tube sock and run it down your knee and wear like the tightest pants ever and see if somebody wants to pat you down. Just fucking fat fucking tube sock rolling down your leg.
Sir, you got a bulge. I know. Come here.
I think he's got a weapon.
Come here.
Is this a gun? Metaphorically, yeah.
There was some pat down video I saw, some chick like patting some dude down. And she's like, I think he's got a gun. It was like his dick. Oh yeah, she, like his dick.
He's carrying himself really weird. He's walking weird.
He's walking.
His massive cock's just like swaying against his leg. He's trying to. I
can't remember the guy's name, but there was a dude who had such a huge cock that it actually was like an issue for his daily life. So there's like a couple documentaries about him.
Oh yeah,
it's like 14 or 15 inches. Like if he ever got hard, he would just pass out.
Oh,
like it wasn't even like even that funny. Like he thought it was kind of funny, but it obviously getting old, right?
Fuck.
Every time you go through an airport, you have to like strap it to the inside of his leg, and they'd be like,
I'm trying to put that behind me, okay? No reason to keep bringing it up. All right, that was in another life. All right, I've moved on.
Everyone's saying it was them.
Juan Shot is saying it was him.
I already beat you to it, Juan. You little bastard.
Oh my God.
Juan, we need a blood sacrifice.
It's funny to look back on, but I got tired of it.
Oh my God. That's fucked though. I'd hate to live like that. Anyway,
trust me.
Let's go over. We went over some basics of CE, but CE there was 4v4, there was 2v2, which was like the hallmark of CE in terms of what people deemed a skill, because everybody references the ogres as the best players in 2v2, and so twos were held in a very high regard. That's why you see it a lot in the Halo 3 community playlist for twos being pretty decently active in the MCC rotation. In the MLG community, twos are known as a really, like, some of the best montage clips I've ever seen are from twos. Like, if you hit a fucking frenzy in 2v2, like, that's some next level shit, It's easy to hit that comparative in a 4v4. But, you know, like, Bo's a good example when he hit that. It wasn't, you know, it was BR snipes on lockout still, but, you know, he hit that frenzy in that, what was it? I think Crossroads to Armageddon at the end of it for the finisher clip. Anyway.
A lot of people don't know this. Well, actually, nobody knows this, but I'm going to say it now. I played a 2v2 lockout, and I hit a frenzy with only BR.
Yeah, that team shot locked in, did ya?
No, I just out-BR'd the fuck out of everybody right off spawn, and I hit a frenzy. Kill frenzy, all battle rifle.
It's mean,
That's
man.
fucking crazy.
It's mean.
Yeah, people freak out trying to do it with a sniper. Imagine trying to do it with a battle rifle.
That was before you were throwing the quads out at him.
You know what? The same guys I hit that frenzy on were the same guys that Bo hit his frenzy on with the snipe. It was Joey Finn and fucking his buddy.
Go-Go?
Not Go-Go. It's Joey
Go-Go
Finn
was
and
the one that got
guy.
hit with the frenzy.
Okay, maybe it wasn't Go-Go then. It was definitely Joey Finn and then somebody else that he always plays with.
Like Fiery or
no, I actually have a YouTube clip. Anybody finds it? It's called "That's a Fiery BR," and it's me fucking out BRing Fiery when he has overshield, and I fucking hit him with a double shot at the end when I'm like, no, I'm zero shield, and I jump out, I'm like, brr, 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 and I hit him with a double shot, and he just does a backflip. You ever seen that meme of the black guys and they're all like, oh, at the end? I like edited that into the video, so after I hit it, it's funny as fuck.
I've got that as a stream toggle whenever I hit shots and people hit subs and shit. Anyway, let's move on to some niche things about Halo 2. For instance, Warlock. When you're playing Warlock in MLG settings, you aren't allowed to go on the top ledges above the portals, and you weren't allowed to glitch the ball out of the map and the tops of the lifts as well. So there were all kinds of little notations that were in both Halo 2 and 3. I mostly know just the 3 ones, but off the top of your guys' head, do you remember any like Halo 2 ones that you weren't allowed to do? Like you couldn't super bounce out of the fucking map on, you know, lockout.
No, I mean, were you allowed to get on top of those, like, I don't want to say light fixtures, but they're like the pieces that you use to get out of the map with jumps on Warlock? Were you allowed to get on like the first one? You jump off the block and you stand on like that thing that connects to that railing.
Yeah, the top of the pillar on top of the lift. That's what you're talking about, right?
That's inside of the lift. I think he's talking about right above the portal, right?
I'm talking about like right above one of like the flag locations. There's like it's almost like
that's
positioned
off.
like
you
a
can't go.
guardrail.
You can't get on
ledges.
that.
No ledges.
No ledges. Okay.
Yeah, so it's those ones. That's another good point. The one above portal, the ball placement one where you can glitch it out at the top lift. You can't super bounce out of the maps. Like all these things had to be stipulated because, you know, that shit existed. No phasing in and out of the map, even by trick jumping, if you bypass the super bounce rule.
Were you allowed to desync your player model? Was that even possible
on multiplayer?
Like,
yeah, but it didn't ever happen. Nobody did that.
I was gonna say there's a couple maps where you could desync yourself relatively easily. Battle Creek's one of them.
Yeah. But beyond that, I think wall shots were legal. Like in Beaver Creek, I don't know if you've seen another clip of Bo's is when he throws that rocket through the front of Red for the triple kill, and it hits the guy down in basement. It's like those were allowed. From at least my understanding, there was never a rule stipulated about it. Which is
well, how are you really going to prevent that, right?
What?
Because how are you going to prevent that?
Yeah,
though?
exactly.
Like, how would you ever ban it?
Yeah.
Like, what if I just missed? Like, somebody already walked in there and I hit.
Right. That's I think another point of why it was allowed. But I don't think Foundation was a map. But I have a clip with Goat of him shooting a dude through the wall at bottom Foundation to hit up into one of the pocket rooms.
Yep.
That one's hella funny.
Wait, what do you have?
Oh! Now you want to join the conversation, Guitar Man? I was talking about when we clipped that dude that was in Foundation, and you shot the rocket through the wall, and it went up into the
floor.
Yep. Yeah. I was talking about how those were legal because they weren't stipulated in the rule books. But beyond that, Halo 3 had some spots that you weren't allowed to go to either. One of them was the bottom tree at Gay Jump on Guardian. You couldn't bring Oddball down there.
There were quite a lot of them on Guardian. I remember.
You couldn't go on top of the tree at Snipe Tower. You couldn't fucking go on the ledges outside of Blue Window. Like if you could, there used to be a shortcut there, but then they made it an illegal spot. And I think they actually patched it out too to even be able to jump up there as easily. But you used to be able to bottom lift that leads up to the snipe lift, not the OS or the camo lift. But you could jump up on the tree, get on the ledge, and if you do it right, you can jump around and get into Blue Window from bottom lift, which was really, really helpful for ball rotations, playing ball, all kinds of stuff. But that only had that's why another thing is you can have all these online ranks and shit, even with the Halo 3 and Halo 2 ranks, it'll never be as good as MLG because people in the playlist back in the day would still do these illegal spots in the playlist. So they'd be like, oh yeah, I have a fucking 43 in the MLG playlist. And he's glitching himself out of the map and all this dumb shit.
Gonna say, I've seen people do that big tree that the snipe tower is built into.
Yeah.
That grows out of the top left of it or whatever.
Yep.
You can get there and see over elbow.
Yeah.
Through a series of jumps.
You jump off of the ledge, that's the first doorway, and you can jump up onto the tree and crawl up.
Mm-hmm. And then you can obviously get above top middle. You can get everywhere.
That UFO that's above the middle of Guardian can't go up there. You used to be able to nade jump off snipe up there.
Yeah, I used to do that. I used to use the explosive container.
Yeah, to blast snipe. Up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just hold back and launch yourself up and be on top of the UFO. And
that actually was a really convenient one to do though, because if you ever wanted to 1v1 somebody, your friend could be host if you're between them, and then you could just head boost him up, or you could nade jump up there. Yeah. You put extra time on the timer, and then he just sits there and he's host. And he can walk.
Does that affect spawning though?
No,
probably.
There's no influence on spawns because they're out of the boxes. Okay. It's being out of the map for the influence on the spawn. And there's no spawns at S3, so it doesn't really even come close.
Sure. I was going to say, in theory, could influence spawning, but there's some people that are so obsessed with no host advantage that it probably...
It's negligible.
I don't know.
It would maybe block top middle spawns on default map, but on MLG, I think the only top middle spots are against gold, and even then he would still be too high.
The thing is what I would think is that it would force lower spawns for the dead person. So if you had the guy way up top, way up high like that, and say you're holding mid map, that one spawn trap where you go on the outside edge where camo's at, and you could look at bottom blue and just catch the spawn snipe right there. Mm-hmm. That inside corner, because you have a guy so up high, the algorithm is going to force him low.
Maybe.
And so if you're holding mid and your other guy is holding high, then you could fucking force a low spawn.
There's a spawn rotation that you can do in there that guys have done in 1v1 tournaments where you can hit 15 snipes in a row. So I'm curious if they tested that, if they put somebody up there, if it would mess with that spawn cycle. Because I think that would be the determining way to test that hypothesis.
It just depends if you're close enough. I haven't looked at I don't know, the clipping of where you're allowed to influence spawns on the map and 3D models or something like that.
I think
at the time people were doing that, it would have been 2008. No one really dug into the games that hard back then.
Yeah. So you can't get on the disc, but what was allowed were shortcuts. So one of the easiest ones for people to learn was the bottom middle onto the grav lift that is connected to the camo spot. And you can jump on a tiny little ledge right there, and then if you miss your head, you can just angle yourself and you'll get caught by the lift and it'll shoot you top mid. So if you need a quick team shot or a rotation or a push with a teammate as you're rotating out or grabbing Mauler or something with camo, and you need to maybe change your direction and get up top real fast, that was an option. Harder jumps included ones like S1 to S2. That was an intermediate jump for a lot of people. A lot easier on MLG settings because you get the speed boost from the character model to get more velocity ramp up. And then I've only done this twice in comp on LAN, but I've successfully done Gold 1, Gold 2 back in the day when needing to let's say they have Sniper at S2 and I need to get to camo, but I'm bottom gold, and I can't cross over because they're watching that crossover path.
I'd see people hit that jump like nobody's business all the time.
Fucking, what's his name from Beast and Bones? Bones hits it all the fucking time. It's insane.
Yeah, he's just like, man.
It's like a flick bounce off ghost jump input. It's so weird to hit. I'd have to practice it a lot to remember the muscle memory.
Some kids are super autistic when it comes to nerdy ass jumps. H2 also, man.
There's a lot of those jumps on there. Bo hit one off of
like
Warlock to top mid.
Pretty much any door jam that has like a top corner, like this.
Yep.
Like if you just jump into that pixel in the corner, even if there's no lip, you'll ghost jump up higher.
Jerv showed me how to do that on Ivory Tower. It's one of the clips I want to hit is a ghost jump from that door ledge, and then BXR
Ghost
somebody
jump,
is
quad
picking
shot in
up
air?
the snipe. The quad shot in air. Oh Christ! Don't.
He's like kill Fock, ghost jump, 360 quad shot in air across map.
Oh my God, kid! Don't get me started, kid. You're gonna make me come back to Halo 2 montaging.
That's what I love about Halo is that it doesn't matter how crazy a clip you've seen, you could always do something fucking crazier. Like it never ends.
Never ends. It's Mr. Bones' wild Halo.
Yeah. It's like playing the guitar. Like you'll never master it. You'll never master Halo. No one will ever master Halo. We all try, but that's the fun of it. Is it never ends.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's true, but it's like the I don't know, like password cracking dilemma. It's like, wow, you in theory could crack any password. Are you willing to put in 648 trillion years?
Yeah.
You know? After a certain point. Like all of the most ridiculous like autism possible, like just shooting people in the head clips. Like those are already in montages. You got to get like not only creative, but be playing against people that are like that are going to behave in the way that you need to, and you have to be good enough. And a million other things. Those like low percentage things all need to happen.
Nowadays,
really
people
low percentage
in the lobby
ghost jumps.
Doing that, like you're competing against mid lobby, and you have to do it on them too. Like it's.
And then you got to think about lag, and then you got to think about connection. You got to think about
those guys had it easy back when there was fucking 5 million people playing the game. There was
and everyone's just got dual wheel holding forward, just running in a straight line of P2. I'm like, oh man,
to have lobbies like that again.
I'll be lucky if somebody doesn't run away after they shoot me and I don't shoot them. They run away still. I'm like, what the fuck,
What'd you say?
There's a clip that I really, really want to do because I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere. I'm not going to say it because it's possible and it doesn't require that much skill because I don't have a whole lot of skill to do it. But it requires my opponent to me to take over their brain and just completely mind game them into doing what I need them to do. And I just can't get it done. That's why I was playing Fiesta when I burned the guy with his own firebomb. I was going for the same clip. So eventually you'll see it, but I've been playing
a clip like that. Everybody who watches my stream knows there's this one clip I always try to get, and it doesn't take a lot of skill at all, and it's not even a multi-kill. It just I go to Beaver Creek where the sniper's at, and there's a big boulder right there. And every time I play this shit, I try to kick the fucking boulder when somebody's at the creek so the fucking boulder can snap their neck and I can kill them using the boulder. I never get it to land. I've had a brush against people, knock people all the way, but it's got to hit them just right on the top of the head to break their neck. And I always, God, the clip is so hard.
The people that are playing too, it's a lot of people are just dog shit, but I've noticed this with almost every game. The level of the average person's aim has been on this crazy upward trajectory. You can't get away with a lot of shit that you used to be able to. People won't just hold their controller wrong and miss because the controller's been out for so long. You can't get away with missing shots even on unranked games against nobodies.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone's got some thumbs now, except for our teammates. Everybody's got thumbs except for your teammates.
They also aren't brainless, so you're never going to see well, I'm sure people will because they'll D-rank and they'll do all kinds of things because the invisible MMR. We've talked about that before, but you won't see Epitaph right on Halo 3. Everyone just standing in the middle of the map, SMGing each other
at each other
endlessly.
anymore.
So you can't just push fusion coils in there and get overkills. It doesn't work like that anymore. People snipe at each other with the AR by pulsing it, and they do things that were high skill at the time, just intuitively or instinctively.
Exactly. Now. Everyone's just fucking way better now, man. I watch midship clips of people going up and down P Street and just standing out in the open and just going for a quad shot, and I'm like, man, I can't fucking do that shit. I'm like, dude, if I fucking look at somebody, look at me, it's literally a 1 second gunfight. It's either I'm getting nade shotted, I'm getting mapped across the fucking map, I'm getting both at the same time. Two guys are shooting me, literally I look at somebody, shoot them once, and I literally have like a couple more trigger pulls, or I'm dead. Like, fast. Like, I'm hugging the wall. My screen's all red. Everything's shaking. Like, it's not like it was back in the day where you could just sit there and wander around and just like hit shots on people walking in the street.
I remember playing like Halo 2 and Halo 3. I would just walk around and like double melee people and like be talking to my dad or whatever when I'm playing. It's like going 25-3. Like it was effortless, right? If you were playing casual, whatever, people on fucking MLG were still killers back then. They still fucked me up. But nowadays and some of that has to do with the invisible YOLO. I'm 100% sure of that. But you're just like playing like Lockout or something like that.
It was clogged.
And people are actually hitting you with their full burst every time. They're like idiots. They've got like 2 brain cells maybe to rub together. And you're under so much pressure on like S2. It's crushing. It's unreal. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like,
so getting kills now is much harder and much more impressive.
So Halo 3, let's go over some early game types of it. Like we talked about Halo 2, there was some funny maps. Now I remember some from the early days of Halo 3. My favorite one to talk about, not a lot of people know of, MLG Isolation V1. There was King of the Hill on MLG Isolation V1.
Oh yeah.
We don't even have King of the Hill no more. So this was like kind of old settings. But they took it out after V1.
Legendary map though, right?
It was too weird of a map. Yeah, it wasn't
no, it's where stupid noob comes from, right? That T2 promo.
That was bottom base. Yeah. Just throw a nade at your feet. They'll never expect it. Dude, I'll never forget.
Aiming in Halo 3 is just like Halo CE.
Yeah.
So if you played that game before, you already got a head start. Yeah.
I remember I was like 15 or so when I had my friend Zach over, and I just got my A40s, and we did an unboxing video together. He was in media production with me, so he was gonna help film and stuff. But we go to play upstairs, and like I'm on fucking construct, and I jump bottom middle after grabbing snipe, and I know this jackass with an AR is gonna chase me. And I look at my friend dead ass. I look him in the eyes, like while falling bottom middle. I'm like, I'm gonna throw a nade at my feet, and he'll never expect it. And he's like, dude, don't do that T2 shit. And I do it, and homie comes down right on. I just battle rifle him. I go, stupid noob, dude. We laughed like our fucking asses off for like 10 minutes straight over that. That was the funniest shit back in the day, like seeing T2 and all the pro tip videos and stuff. Oh my goodness, I miss it. I really do.
Tom Taylor.
MLG Isolation V1 on G4 TV. Come check it out. No.
So you're saying that was a Koth map?
It was a comp map on V1, but it only lasted during V1 settings. There was a gamer tag. So file share was a thing in Halo 3. And you had to have the gamer tag MLG game types as the author of that file. And if you went on game battles, it would show you what version is the newest one. Because there were some that are like, okay, V7, this map's not done yet, so use V6, or, you know, everything's on V4, these settings, these 4, whatever, 4.1, whatever, you know, 5, whatever. And King of the Hill is one I think we need to bring back for Halo Infinite. I know they're bringing the game type back, but I think in competitive that King of the Hill is a much better team-oriented map than Strongholds. I think Strongholds is great for Call of Duty due to the TTK and the fast-paced nature of being able to, you know, clamber. Like they figured out advanced movement well. But Halo, the maps are too big, they're too long for Strongholds. It's mostly just rotations. There's not a lot of organized team holding down of a map and working together like there is with King of the Hill. Like back in the day, if you're playing King on Pit, like there's a setup and you know like where you need to spawn and like what angles you need to watch. Whereas now it's Stronghold, it's like, oh, just keep rotating everybody, just run in pairs and rotate. And it's kind of like, sure, it's teamwork, but is it like 4v4 teamwork or is it 2v2 teamwork, you know? And I think if you're gonna have a good fours game, I think it should Stronghold fine 2v2, that's cool. But for fours, I think King of the Hill should be the main like way to do it. It was super successful. Everybody loved the game types in 3 from Pit. Construct King of the Hill, that's where boys became men, man.
Like my favorite Halo 3 thing. But I never say that because everyone who plays on MCC, like there's so many issues with MCC playing on Construct, like the engagement ranges and shit.
Yeah.
But on 360, man, Construct King is fucking sick.
I
like,
lost
that is
the triggers
really,
down on Construct, and they had a setup I had never seen before. I learned so much from that fucking map, and oh man,
this is actually something that I wanted to talk about that I thought of when you sent the message that we were going to talk about, like settings.
I've always found Construct's King of the Hill to be like the best for that, just because you really had to think about how you were going to push. Like, are we all going to push up all the lifts separately at the same time?
Yeah.
Are we all going to push up the same lift together?
Yep.
Are we going to take the back lift? Are we going to take the purple lift?
It was
Are we
all
going to take
based
that little
on your
ramp in the
opponent's
back?
setup and their skill. You would try to like fucking conglomerate all your boys. Like if you knew their power player was at gold, you'd go up fucking closed, you know, with like 3 people to hit their weakest link, and then try to lock in library while their sniper stuck back gold and just nade them out like from once you get them stuck.
Construct TS was kind of a fuck show in my opinion, because
they had to add
pace of the game
to make it work.
Yeah, because Koth is like, it's partially controlled by the clock and it's partially controlled by like your opponent's setup. So it's like very tactical. It's kind of like playing a nuke on the original Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
where you have this like vertical maneuverability, and it's a lot on like your shot caller and how much information that you can get and stuff. It's very tactical. Whereas King of the Hill is like, it's just there's no not King of the Hill. Team Slayer obviously is just deathmatch. Yeah. So it's controlled a lot by like the pace of the game, how fast people can kill each other. It doesn't work the same way tactically.
Yeah, that's also why, I mean, a lot of you guys that know that, like when I stream, and like I've gotten really far away from Slayer just because there's no incentive in Slayer to like make any type of plays. Like if I got the rocket launcher or the sword and I'm some scrub, I could just sit in a fucking room and not move, and I'll just sit there and wait, and that it just kills the game. But when you have a hill, if you don't want to be a part of the game, I'll just stand on the hill and end the game. You know, like you'll take your L, and you're not going to waste 15 minutes of my time sitting in a fucking corner with your shotgun. Like I'll just end the game. If you're not going to participate, I'll end it. And so the people who do want to play, it forces them to actually like rotate around the map and not make the game so stagnant. Like I'm so done with the way people play fucking matchmaking now with Slayer, because it just turns into a fucking huge stalemate.
Here's another.
Yeah, I wish there was like a lockout King 24/7 that I could just queue. That shit's so much fun.
Yeah, even if you're playing a good team, like it'll be a stalemate. It'll be like 10-10, and no one wants to move. And there's like some sweats with new combo, like crouching on a corner, and it's like great. Like this game is like everything's good.
Speaking of Slayer and niche rules and weird shit, on game battles, if you were down a player in objective, like somebody lagged out, you could continue the game 3v4 and have them rejoin. But if it was Slayer 3v4, it was an automatic forfeit. And the reason was because the team of 3 has less people to kill versus the team of 4. So it's harder for the team of 4 to get to 50 because there's less opportunities for them. Even if they're above shot and they have numerical advantage, it's still technically, mathematically a longer journey to get to 50 with only 3 players, like in terms of timing and the game flow. So if it was 3v4 Slayer, it would automatically end, at least on Halo 3. I don't know about Halo 2 online comp, but I remember that being a distinct rule as well.
Well, especially with the kill times in Halo 3, right? But that makes a lot of sense, yeah. It's something that it's an observable phenomenon if you ever played any game with like your brother and his friend and they try to like team up on you and it's like, wait, I'm winning twice as fast now.
Yeah.
Like because
there's less for them to do.
I wanted to ask actually, was 3 plots ever considered a competitive mode in Halo 2? Was that ever at an MLG event or something? Because obviously I didn't go to them. So
3 plots. I remember Assault was. I don't know. Was 3 plots GOAT?
Yeah, Assault.
I don't ever remember 3 plots on anything, man.
I remember
because
Assault,
strongholds, functionally, I mean, there's minor distinctions. It's just 3 plots.
Yeah.
Like one team stops scoring at a certain point, but like the score limit is lower, so it functions almost exactly how 3 plots did. 3 plots is trash.
Yeah, it's
why
meant for
the
Call
fuck
of
are we
Duty,
playing
and
3
it's like
plots?
it's a game type that's like good for like, I'd say 3 plots would be really good for a game like multi-team. Like if there's like a lot of like, you know, that would make it. Sorry,
I always say that, bro. I always say they should put it in that. What's that shit called? Like that. What's that shit called? It's like a grab bag of different fucking
action sack.
Action sack. They need to throw 3 plots in action sack.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. I missed the action sack playlist. That shit was fun.
Dude, put it in action sack and take it out of fucking King of the Hill, man. I'm tired of searching. Like half my fucking games in King of the Hill are goddamn fucking territories.
Yeah,
3 plots.
Instead of it being Crazy King, it's fucking 3 plots. It's terrible.
So stupid.
It only works with a lot of people. I think I'll tell you this: you want to get Halo Infinite popping off, you want to get Halo MCC popping off.
Jesus.
Bring back multi-team action sack. Everybody loved it. You want to talk about a community game in which the competitive and the regular community and the montagers like? Right there. Let me tell you, you'd get so many people.
How about this? How about you guys put a fucking Halo 2 in the goddamn fucking custom game browser? How about that?
It's spaghetti code, goat. You can't.
That you can't. Yeah, like, if you can do a custom game,
really hard.
How come you can't do a custom browser? It's like, what the fuck?
It's because server hosting and them implementing like the cross mapping data for like their matchmaking system outside of their rigged thing that they have going. I mean, it's spaghetti code. I mean,
yeah. Well, they have like spaghetti brains too. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast or just on like Xbox Live a couple days ago, but I was saying like, man, the epitome of their lack of understanding of this entire franchise is removing competitive Halo 2, like MLG Halo 2, and putting in MLG Halo Reach like to replace it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many layers to why that's like the dumbest shit ever.
Well, they try to think like this. Like Reach was technically the largest bot franchise, but it also had the fastest die-off rate of all the Halos. So like it's not a good metric to measure by, and they think like, oh, it's the biggest one, it must have done the best. No, like, no.
Halo 3 sold more copies than Halo Reach after all
sure?
the dust settled. Yeah, Halo 3 sold like 15 million copies.
I thought
Halo Reach sold about 12. Maybe 11. I have a video actually where I brought up the stats
Halo
on
3
that.
total
on my YouTube channel.
copies sold.
The only reason Halo 3 is
26.
The only reson Halo 3 sold so many copies is because the success of Halo 2.
Copies sold.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not attempting to say why it sold.
You're right. It was 3.3 million. Wow.
Yeah, so Reach sold like what, 12 or 13 or something?
Oh, and then the franchise including Reach on Steam. Okay, that's when Reach released on Steam. Okay, that's different. Okay.
I'm sure that Reach
it was the biggest one sold through MCC on Steam.
Yep.
Got it.
I believe that.
Got it. So that's probably what they're going off of. I misinterpreted that.
Yeah, that's true, but Reach on MCC also experienced, I'm pretty sure, the fastest population fall off of any Halo game, that specific release, because the actual Halo Reach, we can shit on it all day. It didn't retain players like Halo 3, I'll say that for sure. But it retained players extremely well for other games, and it retained players a lot better than Halo 4. So, but it wasn't retaining those players because of MLG. It was retaining those players because Doubles was very good, and it was a good casual game with a lot of customization
with the rank
Forge. And,
Yes. Excuse me, I gotta take a piss out my ass.
But if you removing Halo 2 competitive and replacing it with Halo Reach, it's like there's no crossover in terms of population. Like nobody who likes Halo 2 MLG is going to like Halo Reach. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's going to be some unicorn in the chat saying that I'm wrong, but you're a unicorn, bro. There's only one of you.
I do like competitive Reach just for the fact that it's no bloom, no sprint, and I think that the hit registration on Reach is very well coded compared to Halo 2's. I like running. I've had the best tournament results in Reach after 3 for my personal esports career too. I mean, I think that it was it wasn't button combo-esque. It wasn't the most technical fucking hardcore like Halo game, but the precision weapon meta, I feel like that really brought out a lot of the idea of who was more of a precision player, like who had really the best aim at the end of the day. And Roy still maintained that kind of posture, as well as we saw legit. There's a lot of players that I think carried over from 3 very well. Team Mantra won the Halo Reach 4v4.
Yeah, I remember watching that. That was crazy.
Boo Boo Doo. I mean, him and Eco, some of the best damn Reach players I've seen with a sniper in their hands, man. Like these guys were smooth, super smooth. So I mean, I personally, I wouldn't say that it's as legitimate as Halo 2 in terms of overall like team shot and like map building and game type modes and overall skill ceiling because of button combos, but I did have a lot of fun playing Reach, and I think that it was pretty damn balanced.
I agree. The issue is that your access to Halo 2 MLG settings is now being challenged by Halo Reach 4's MLG settings. And think about just like, we can talk about carryover population or whatever. Neither of these games are really quite healthy enough to have 4v4 playlists with their competitive settings.
Right.
Halo 3, you can have a million 4v4 playlists, and they all have population at some part of the day. Doubles is something that you might want to look into for these games.
Reach especially.
You also have a huge population of people who played Reach for, and I know this sounds unpopular, but the TU doubles and TU default settings.
Oh yeah, I know Invasion guys really well.
Reach. Yeah.
Like I knew some guys that used to 50
Invasion,
out their
but they're
accounts.
running Invasion with like, and the reason why that was popular is because there was never really a ranked BTB.
Mm-hmm.
It's very scatterbrained. I'm sure I'm doing a very clumsy job of explaining this, but replacing it with another unpopular forest playlist for an unrelated game with foreign gameplay doesn't really make any sense. It's like if we replaced like Halo 3 doubles instead of with like the retarded other doubles that they keep swapping in, we replace that with like ranked BTB. There's no, it doesn't make sense.
They had
it's not an equivalent product.
Even with their crappiest Halo 4 game in terms of metrics, they had a very big successful run with 6v6. And I think that's a good indication that they should move towards 8v8, especially for Halo 3 big team battle had a 1 through 50 ranking system. So the maps and the game types and all that are already there for ranking. They don't even have to think of anything new. I think that would be one of the best additions to Halo, especially if you can get Halo 2 as well. Maybe make, I've been advocating this for a long time, but there should be a cross game ranked playlist as well. And that includes like a classic, like 1 through 3, and then like a modern Reach through 4.
I've always said there should be like a playlist that should be called like Trilogy Master or something, where you have to play CE 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And it's just like a very small map pool from each game, and you play in doubles, and you have to try to win best of 3.
I think I don't know why they don't do that.
That would be a really good timed playlist.
Yeah,
I think that would be something special.
I don't know why they're not doing that. I don't know if they're
populate some of the lagging games.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like
really,
some of the games that aren't getting so much love. Like I think
CE needs love, man. It needs it bad. Their hit registration and the way the pistol works and all that is fucking. It's heartbreaking to watch.
That's been kind of fucked since the PC port, though. Not the PC port of MCC, but like the Gearbox PC port had really bad hit reg issues. If anyone played that, it could have been the poor internet I was using at the time, but it was.
I used to play a lot of CE, but after all these patches, CE just gets worse and worse and worse, and it's like I can't even get myself to play that game anymore, man.
There's a lot of desync sometimes on MCC.
Like it's like in Halo 2, like you get a laggy game and they eat shots and it's like, all right, you just kind of chalk it up and you just adjust your gameplay. But in CE, when it doesn't hit, it doesn't fucking hit. Yeah. I mean, I could pretty much do a cardboard cut around your body, like coo. I'm shooting in a goddamn circle around you, and like I'm aiming dead ass at your face and just nothing is connecting.
Yeah, they have if I'm not mistaken. They have the coding for the auto fire, which would be on classic console when you hold the button down for pistol and it automatically shoots. There's a random spread when you map it out on walls and whatnot based off of that. However, if you do the single shot, it actually stays in a very tight exit area.
I'm doing a live show right now, podcast.
It's very important for them to understand like the difference between that, and I feel like they haven't coded that in, nor do they know. Maybe they don't know how to, or they don't care, or if it's not like been brought up enough to remind them. Like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know, but I think that would save Halo CE more than they know. That small patch fix alone would really bring a lot of that community back together. Because it's just like it's the same thing with Reach. It's literally it's the same idea. Like Goat's talking about, it goes around somebody's head. Whereas in Classic, if you did the single fire shot versus the full auto, the bullet spread was significantly less, like extremely significantly less.
Well, you had to have a full release of the trigger before you fire the next shot. That's all
there was
that.
Timing.
So Yeah, so it actually became like a rhythmic thing.
Yeah.
Because there was like a maximum speed that you could shoot at. Very, very skillful game. The increase in like I don't want to say auto aim assist, whatever. It was not aim assist because it doesn't move your reticle, but with aim magnetism, bullet magnetism, whatever you want to call it, was something that they actually had to put in because the netcode was so fucked. And I think that in the competitive playlists, that is reduced, and there's no
magnetism,
there's no spread.
Oh,
no spread at all in like the ranked doubles and shit.
Really?
Because the frame rate that you're running Halo CE at, it was never intended for. So some people would have more spread than others, and like the release would be different, so it fucked everything up. And you also can get what's called Recoil Bug, where you're always at max bloom for your entire life, and it's not fixable as far as I can tell.
Is that what that's probably what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so you'll have like these crazy situations where it's like your pistol is just set to max spread. You can't unstick it. You're just going to lose every gun battle unless you're fighting it like 1 meter away. And that's something that's on MCC. And I think that you can trigger it more frequently if you're playing at a higher frame rate. But
that's fucked. So it's like you
so
can't
they
even
just
fix
had to
that. You
remove
have to just
it
wait
entirely.
till the game's over, or what is that like?
It's I think it's per life if I remember correctly.
Wow, that's
so if you die, it can reset you.
Oh, still though, like,
I've
there
experienced
goes your
it
spree
like
or any hope of like fighting back. Like
I've experienced it like a couple times where it's like I haven't fired for 10 seconds and I'm at max recoil when I fire one bullet. This isn't possible. And obviously you're just going to die instantly if you're playing against anybody good. So they just had to remove the recoil completely from the competitive lists.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of issues, right? I can actually send you guys the
so they have patch
the
notes
link.
And everything.
I'm going to make a video about this at some point. I suppose I should send you guys this. But this is what I was talking about the other podcast that I was on, where I was saying that people were handed bans and just ignored in like WhatsApp groups and shit.
Wow.
Over trying to help CE on MCC. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with. People don't know and they don't care, and they have this like active hostility towards the community that actually cares, even when they're trying to be polite in offering fixes.
Oh man, they have like the whole story of not wanting to use the gearbox. Oh Jesus. I'm going to have to read this.
Yeah. So I'll talk about that more in depth at some point. It's interesting. Every time that you guys have me on, I always just sidetrack the conversation to talking about CE.
No, I like it though. We need that because that's CE's the foundation for all of Halo. Yeah. It really is.
It's not my best game. It's not the one that I play the most, but I just find it so interesting that like CE should be this like crowning jewel for this company.
Yeah,
like, this is everything.
It's their fucking it's their golden ribbon, bro. It's their fucking first trophy. Like all other trophies beyond it are only because of it. And if it's not looking good, everything else is gonna look like shit.
There wouldn't be Xboxes anymore. So Xbox Division should show some respect. They should kiss the crown.
They need to treat it just like Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike does that to their old games. They hold them in high revere. They know what made them successful and where they came from, and they stuck to it. And I think like there's a very large lack of respect for the culture that was the foundational source of all of this that we see before us.
That's the thing with them delisting or not delisting, but cutting the servers for Halo 3.
Yeah.
I kind of see that the same way, where it's like this is the biggest success of your entire, like, all of Xbox. I'm pretty sure this is the highest selling exclusive that they have. You sold like 15 million copies of this product, probably more because you resold it on MCC as well. Like, this is your brand. No matter what people personally think about Halo 3, this is like a phenomenal success for video games.
It's like shutting down.
You should be keeping that shit online at even huge expense forever.
I mean,
that's like shutting down the first
In-N-Out
or shutting down the first McDonald's. Like, it's just not respectful.
Exactly. Like, look at Nintendo, man. They got so much respect for the OG Super Mario Brothers. Like, you could still play that shit competitively online. I got a Nintendo Switch, and you could actually compete in OG Super Mario, like against like the world online on your Switch. Like that shit is like a crown jewel. If you go play a Nintendo, you can find access to Super Mario. And I mean, look at the graphics. The thing looks like it was made out of fucking Legos, but it's not about that. It's not about that. You know,
Yeah,
and I think somewhere along the line, like the developers were like, it needs to be bigger, faster, more accessible, more noob friendly. And what made Halo so good was the fact that the skill ceiling was fucking insane. It's like, why do you want to play a game that you could master its movement in the first week of owning it? Like, it should be something that's like a lifelong journey, like that you may never achieve.
Just like martial arts.
Yeah, like if you look at like some of like the skill nades, the movement, the strategy behind CE, it was very unforgiving. And if you fucked up, you got punished into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, like it's like if I fuck up a jump, I could just like clamber on something. Are you like you don't even have to hit
away real quick.
It like clambers for you.
Can't
and
catch
like
me,
there's
kid.
yeah, it's like you're running around with goddamn those inflatable swimming lifeguards and a goddamn helmet and the goddamn airbags around you. Like the game is now it's like you don't get punished for fucking up, or you'll get punished, but you're not going to get punished like back in the day you got punished.
Well, it's counterintuitive, right? It's interesting because I think that now I'm old enough. Obviously, you guys are old enough that a lot of the people that are developing
let me finish my thought too. Look at Mario Brothers. You have a certain amount of lives, and then after they're up, you go back to the start menu. Mm-hmm. There ain't no continue where you left off. Go eat your peanut butter and jelly sandwich and fucking take a nap and then continue your fucking game. No, back in the day when I was a kid, you died too many times. It's back to the fucking start menu.
That's how we did it at daycare. I remember in my first daycare.
There's a button combo you can press to continue where you left off. But yeah. I don't know.
You can go back to the first of the world and stuff too if you lose all that.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But most games,
there's a more severe penalty. You don't just get a checkpoint.
Yeah, but I mean, like socially though, I still remember this when I was at daycare. I was like 6-7 years old.
I hate checkpoints.
We'd take turns on the machine, right? Because there was like 5 of us that wanted to play it, and the rule with us was when you run out of lives, you give it up, and then you start a new game. So like even before like regular competitive settings, the culture of gaming has followed those things too. So that goes talking about like that's how you played it. Like even though you could do it the other way, like when you were around and you had to share and you were like in that like Pokemon too. It's like, did you use the rare candy glitch or did you do it the real way? Like, you know what I mean? Like there were rule sets even before we had them on pen and paper. Did you go to P3
or no? You know?
Yeah.
You know, these exactly. There's these skill sets, these rule sets, and now I feel like it's not about, being punished for fucking up and becoming better and learning from that. It's more about participation trophies.
Well, they want attention for
the
easy
interesting thing about removing the ability to just like crush somebody's soul in a game, just like extract their soul from their body, just outplay them completely, is that like that's the most fun thing you can do, and it's not. Well, it can be fun actually in rare occasions to have that happen to you if it's like something you've never seen before, but it's not fun to have that happen. But if you remove the ability to just like obliterate somebody from this reality from the game, then people can't do that, right? They never have the loss of experiencing that, but they never have like the ultimate victory that'll make them a player for life of doing it for the first time, right?
Yeah. When I remember the first time I hit my dub shot Jaro and midship FFA, I literally felt like I fucking like had like a euphoric like high from it. Just feeling like
the Halo theme's playing in the background.
Like how hard it is to clutch that off. Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying is if you take away the extreme punishment, you also take away the extreme satisfaction. It goes both ways. Because, it all depends on if you're on the giving or the receiving end, you know? But if you take those insane feelings away, then you have an emotionless game.
They want to get everybody just enough. They want to give them just enough. They don't want to give them too much. They don't want them too much. They want them right here where they can keep them buying skins and just drag them like just little bits.
One of the first times that I like
a little perfect 4-shot medal for doing your fucking job right. You get a medal now. Sorry.
I remember one of the first times that I like just BXR'd somebody. I was super young, and I'd like kind of didn't understand the timing or something like that. But I finally got it on like right under the snipe spawn on Ivory Tower, and the guy was trying to like use like the pea shooter on me, and I just like killed him from full health. He's just dead now, and I was like so amazed by that. I'm like, and he's yelling on proxy chat and shit, and I was like, well, I guess I'm playing this for the rest of my life then. Like, yeah,
but you see that feeling, and that like you got punished and punished and punished, and you didn't get it down. It's something you had to work on. It's not something that was just given to you just because you fucking purchased the skin or you fucking installed the game or you had to hit one button and it did it for you. You know, it's something that you have to practice. You know, and there's something that I always tell people, man. Fall in love with the process, not the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think nowadays we live in a society that's so outcome based that everyone is on such a short attention span that they don't want to go through the trials and tribulations of what it takes to get that. They just, you know, we live in a fast food society. Everything, I want it through the drive-through window and I want it right now. And I'll just pay for it and I don't want to have to earn anything.
Just
you know?
Side note, real quick. No longer is it called McDonald's on turf. It is Taco Bell. Speaking of drive-thrus.
Taco Bell.
It's the Taco Bell window.
Yeah, we call it Taco Bell now.
New call
Speaking
outs,
of
comp
Taco
settings, Taco Bell. It's
yeah. But yeah, and I think that's what a lot of these, I mean, if you really want to get down to it, that's what a lot of these modern Halos are missing is the fact that there's nothing in the game to master. There's nothing that's like, man, if I could just get that one thing down, I would be sick at this game. It's just kind of like, it's very one-dimensional. There's not like depths of how good you could get. Like, I remember there was like nades that you could do in CE that were like, they were, you know, fairly easy. If you wanted to nade like sniper from like hang 'em high, it was a pretty easy nade. But then, like, it got crazier, and something's involved 2 nades. Some things you had to throw like 6 fucking nades in the air, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you got overshield on fucking damnation. You're flying up the fucking side of the fucking waterfall, and you do like a 360 lightning snipe spawn kill on the guy at top fucking green, and you're like, how did we get here? Because the skill gap just got crazy. You know, it wasn't just nading a weapon. Now you're like doing a chain react
through time and space with overshield propagation.
Now you're using time concussive force to push you through a map, you know, like, and you're not getting that with these modern shooters. You're just not, you know.
Imagine
how
Warzone, you find some fucking like
these
nade
kids?
launch, you just fly up top Caldera. Dude, I want to play. I want to play Warzone. Real life Spartan wants to get into Warzone with me.
Nice.
I'm gonna get him in there, man. I'm gonna get him in the Warzone. We're gonna.
Yeah, does that mean he's gonna be like a real life special ops? He's gonna like fucking wear like.
Dude, I'm gonna dress up. I'm gonna get my airsoft gear out. I'm gonna fucking be all about it.
Nice.
It's gonna be a fun collab.
Yeah, I saw that he was tweeting that he wants to get into games that aren't Halo, and I can't blame him.
Well, yeah, he's doing super successfully as a streamer. If he continues that niche, but still like I do. Like I mostly do Halo stuff, but I also do other stuff. But people know me from Halo, you know. Why not? We should have dudes dressed. We should be having people like that go into other communities and attracting people into Halo because they're seeing somebody like, oh, this guy likes this game too. Well, maybe I'll check out Halo since he's liking it. And it's like, it's a positive reinforcement for Halo in general because he still does MCC. He still does like, he's still like, in terms of his vocalization of things that he likes, he's very like what we're talking about. Like when you talk to him, he's like MLG. He was there back in the day at the events. Like he's been going to midnight releases since he was a kid. Like he's really about this shit, you know? So
it's crazy.
I'd much rather have him, you know, go out to those games versus, you know, others.
There was this little window of time that happened in the early 2000s. And if you were there, you were there. And if you weren't, well, you missed out. But it was, if you wanted to go online and if you wanted to smoke somebody at a shooter, you played Halo 2 because that was like the first like online sweaty competitive. I mean, all this shit you see now, all these leagues that you see, all this like online, not online, but like tournaments, and it all started from Halo 2. Halo 2 is everyone's daddy when it comes to anything you see in the competitive scene nowadays. You know, and I'm so grateful that me and then like maybe some of you guys listening and even you guys like we're able to be somewhat a part of it. But even for me, man, like I understand that I'm riding a dying horse into battle, and the community. Like if I want my channel to grow, I've been thinking about doing like lifestyle streams. I'm thinking about like throwing parties and just like hooking up a GoPro, and then just like literally just like beer pong and like throwing hella parties and just doing all kinds of shit, traveling and just like vlogging everything. You know how people just like walk around in like Tokyo and shit. I've been thinking about
that's what Shook One did.
Yeah. I've been thinking about just like walking around Tokyo and just getting
put a speaker around your neck so that way we can donate and play Erica when you're like,
and it is like, and just being like, like even like me and Bo, like Hyena, we're talking about going to Tokyo, and just like imagine me and Bo getting fucked up at a sushi bar in Tokyo. The shit that would happen.
I would pay money I would donate 5 gifted subs to see that live. Every 5 gifted subs, Bo has to take a shot.
Yeah, so like I mean it's gonna get crazy. I got a lot of stuff in like in the woodwork, man. Maybe do like me playing guitar like for an hour. I don't know, like switch it up. But,
always. That's the cool thing about Twitch is there's so much room for creativity. Like you can do so much.
I also know I'm gonna go on my tattoo journey. I'm gonna start getting completely covered in tattoos.
Oh, dude, you gotta get all inked up, bro. Yeah,
Dude, I'm literally gonna go all the way to here.
Okay.
Like all the way down. Everything completely covered. Yeah, completely covered all the way. But yeah, I plan on starting that. So that's where all my Twitch money is gonna start going, is into tattoos.
Dude, you owe.
Shameless.
You owe
shameless
right now.
Plug. What's up?
You owe. You still owe, though.
I owe. What do I owe?
You owe earbuds to a hair transplant.
Yeah, well, $99 special.
Take him to fucking Thailand with you. Get it done there for like $20.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Mexico and we're just gonna inject his scalp with a numbing solution and just get it done in the back of like a gas station.
No.
With donkey hair.
I love that guy, man. I love running boxes with him. He's hella fucking good communicator. Love that dude. Oh man.
Yeah. I find it interesting how many like really strange and cool personalities have ended up coming out of Halo. And I'm not sure that it's something to do with like the game itself or like the kind of person who plays it. I'm sure that Fox News people would say it's the game that does it to us. But
dude, I'm gonna tell you this: everybody that played Halo 2 was around and gaming at a certain time when the world was in a certain way. Like when you went out, the movies that were prevalent during Halo were what? We had fucking Matrix, Fight Club, 300, like a lot of cool, real like fucking Die Hard, like Need for Speed made its debut. Like it was a different time. Like, for God's sake, Steve Vai was on the fucking Halo soundtrack for Halo 2, man. I mean, we're talking guitars here. I mean, the legend himself.
I used to love listening to him shred every time I fired up my Xbox.
Right? Dude, and it's like, it's a reminiscent of a time of, it was a social zeitgeist, a social mindset that everybody was in during that peak of, I would say, I don't want to say, masculinity, but for lack of a better word, it would be like, I don't know, just badassery. Like it just like everything just felt like everything that was coming out was cool. It was badass. Like we were skateboarding with CKY, like fucking Jackass on TV, Andy Milonakis.
I feel like at that time you lived your life to accept yourself, and I feel like now people live their life to be accepted by others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the difference is. Is back then it was like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, like some jackass shit. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm going to wear a diaper and get launched out of a cannon. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive my purple Lambo to the skate park and fucking, whatever, the
entire show, like, Wild Boys.
Yeah. Like I'm going to fucking, I'm just gonna fucking do whatever the fuck I'm gonna do, and there's no apologies for it. And I think like now we live in a culture that like people are so worried about likes and thumbs up and superficial validation.
There's no real competition. There's no real competition right now.
No. Right now is actually, if your eyes are open, right now is actually a great time to be alive because there's no competition out there. It's like it's like stepping on ants right now. So like
they are ants, Michael.
Yeah,
you can look at
it like the glass is half full or the glass is half empty. And right now you could be like, oh, it's a terrible time because this and that. But what you got to realize is if you're really on top of your shit, right now is a great opportunity to shine and to stand out. Do your own thing, and
True.
Yeah.
I think that there's this weird like, because you'll see this with traditional games and tabletop games and war games and stuff as well. They're sort of having the same conversations that we are about other products, where they expected standards of people, and there was an understanding of like who your people were, right? In terms of like these are Halo people, right?
Right.
And you had sort of like, I don't want to say necessarily a sense of community. That's kind of a misused term these days. That comes with like a lot of bizarre baggage from like PR departments and shit. But if you actually were showing up to these events and trying, and you were like aggressive and in with the lingo and shit, you had a sort of like sense of belonging, like you're part of this greater machine, but the machine also runs on you.
Yep.
That has all fallen apart. Like everyone now is like very atomized.
Very
no one's
well
even
said.
talking on the mic and shit.
Yeah.
So you know there's no interesting individuals, and the machine doesn't run anymore. And that's how I feel about
the cool thing that was so honorable about Halo is that everybody, like if you think about it, in the movie 300, they were a warrior culture. When you went to these events, everybody was a fucking fighter and trained killer on the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they were there to do. That was the consensus of the group, right? Nowadays, it's like, oh, you know, I just want to play the same 4 maps over and over and be happy with it and buy these fucking pineapple skins and all these other goofy things, right? Whereas, like, when you went to an event back in the day, like, you wore the jersey. You know, that was the thing. You know, that's how everybody bonded. It was the common. That's what made the event so good, is because you were surrounded by like-minded people, and everybody knew the Halo guys. The chat saying Keemstar even came from Halo. Everybody knew the Halo guys is like, oh man, those are the fucking killers over there, man. Those are the guys that are doing it. Like they're really hitting crazy shots. They're doing real good accuracy video game war simulation shit.
Fuck what color my fucking gun is, man. Give me a black gun. I'm gonna fucking rip your face off. Like,
give me a gun that just shoots right.
Yeah, does it shoot? Yeah. Okay.
Is the hit reg good?
That's all I need. Yeah, I don't need your latest consumer bullshit. I don't need to buy more of your product.
You can still have it, but it comes later. It comes after.
Talking about the event thing though, I think you should go like. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. What?
I was gonna say the one thing I'm glad that they didn't do to Halo 2. I think I talked about this last time. Is the fact that they didn't add those stupid fucking skins, and we're not walking around Halo 2 looking like goddamn Lord of the Ring characters.
Fuck
man.
you, dude. I love my Viking.
That shit is so stupid, man.
Fuck you, dude.
I swear to God, if I'm playing an FFA and someone comes in wearing like Mickey Mouse ears or something, I'm gonna shut off the game for
I've
good.
got blood horns, kid.
Yeah.
And I drink my mead from them after I get the Jarro.
Going like one layer deeper on that though, where you're talking about like, oh, the Halo guys at the events or whatever. Like I've said before, I haven't gone to a lot of like MLG events or whatever. They just weren't available to me. But I've been to a lot of other gaming events, and there's game developers now talk about like community and community outreach and stuff, but there isn't any community anymore, because the way that it used to be, and people misunderstand this because the people are softer now, is that yes, there's like an in-group kind of like aggression. In fact, that's like kind of what everybody shares, that they're like competitors and they're fighters, and but everyone outside of that group is not your group. So in a way, it's also like it brings you together, because we're the Halo people. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is a loser because we're doing the coolest thing, right? So even if I'm telling you that you're shit and I rocket you a bunch of times, we control the map, and we beat you by 10 kills or something like that, it's like me and you, we're the same because we're Halo people.
Yeah, you're not over at the Smash League.
Yeah,
you're not over at the World of Warcraft booth.
Anyone else I like less because you're one of my people, right? There
was pride in Halo back in the day.
I don't know if that was like
we had the main stage, and we made sure Like it was ours.
I don't know if that was ever like explicitly stated that like it goes both ways. It's like we're competitive, but we're the same in that way.
Yeah,
like
I
don't know
like
if
your
that,
mindset.
It's kind of like the theory of like
Spartan
and people
mindset.
talking shit to you and stuff. That's like a shit test too, like to see if you are one of us, right? But once you are one of us, you know,
like
we circle the wagons and shit too. So
yeah, it's like being a brother, right? Like I'll beat my brother's ass, but nobody else is gonna beat my brother's
exactly,
ass.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like me and my brother, we can fight, but God, if somebody else tried to pick a fight with my brother, I'd beat the shit out of that
Overwatch
person.
kids
Man.
come over here talking shit on my boy Sudeth again. I swear to God, no.
But the thing is that you have to
fight
like
for Sudeth. I don't know him that well.
The thing is that you have to take like
I don't know.
that initial you have to survive that initial shit test, but then you're part of like a much stronger bond.
Yeah.
Whereas with how shit is now, it's like anyone can be a Halo person. No, that's not true. You can't just like install the game and become like a Halo player, right? So I think it's really weird when people talk about like community and shit, because it's like we used to have a community that was inclusive. Where we did like each other.
I don't want to exclude nobody that came in, but I gotta say it straight. Like if you came from Reach onwards, like yeah, you're part of the community, but you gotta pay homage to what started it, because there was a lot of time before Reach that really set the roots for Halo, and a lot of these newer players, they don't really care too much for us. You know, they kind of have their reservations and their opinions about us, and a lot of times unnecessary negative light. Because they deem it as toxic or whatever, you know. But we see it as a bonding agent.
This is a big issue that tabletop games are having now, especially with like War Machine and Warhammer and stuff, where people that are new to this system do not respect the people that came before and built what they have now. And there's this. It should be self-explanatory, I guess. But when you're talking with like other men, I guess, who have done things before you, who are of higher standing than you need to defer to them in some ways until you've built up enough credibility to start saying things on your own and build from that foundation that they laid, right? And understand them, right?
Yeah, it's part.
So you'll see when I'm talking about things, like I started playing in, I don't know, 2003 or something like that, but I didn't go to tournaments and shit, and I'm also a lot younger. So instead of just like saying retarded shit, I will ask one of you guys like, oh, you were at this event. How did that work?
Yeah.
And I'll take that information, or I'll read forums, or I'll watch VODs or something like that, because that's expected of somebody who, you know, was only an adult for Halo 3 and onwards, right?
Yeah, well,
that's an expected thing.
You gotta be able to
People
correct
realize
yourself.
that like back in, you know, 02, 03, 04, we were some little shits too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were some, so who the fuck are you, goat man? Get the fuck out of here, you little shit stain.
Yes.
You know, like
Who's this random?
I mean, everybody was a peasant at one time, and then
but Goat Man had to respect like Walshy and
well, I mean,
Zios and shit, right?
I was looking at like Clockwork. I was like respecting.
Yeah.
I was looking at
like
Clockwork.
Killer N and shit.
I was looking at like Rip On. Like those were like my OGs. So like I'm looking at like Rip On, Clockwork, like, you know, Strange Purple, like these are like, you know, because I was from like the very beginning. So I mean, a lot of these guys were almost like my peers, and but even before that, I was looking at like I was respecting like OG like Quake players and like Doom players,
CS
like
1.6, like Spawn.
like, those were like my daddies. Was like the Doom players, the Quake players, the Unreal Tournament players. I came in from GoldenEye. I was a GoldenEye player, and then CE came.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so I started off my first shooter was Doom, which was the first shooter, and then I just kind of like worked my way up from there. But like,
Mine was
but
Quake
yeah, I
on
mean,
PC.
at least in the Halo world, even though I was already a vetted shooter by the time I made it to Halo, I still had to like keep my mouth shut and kind of just learn with my eyes and not with my mouth, you know, and I put in my time, you know. But the thing is even right now, like one of these days, those Reach kids or even these Halo 5 or Infinite kids, they're going to be OGs, and people are going to be like, "Damn, you played Infinite? Damn, man, you're old school. Like, fuck, you know, like you're a fucking legend, man. You were there at the beginning of Infinite. Like, it's crazy to think about, but one day it's going to be like that." And then you get to tell the next little shitter to shut the fuck up and listen to what the fuck you have to say.
Listen, Cad.
You know?
The issue is that if you don't have, I don't want to say it's like a respect thing because that makes it sound really pretentious, but if you don't have that appreciation and understanding of what came before, then you'll never build in a direction that's like the correct way for the future, and things will just start to fall apart. There should be this like
problem right now. That's why Halo has a problem right now.
There should be this healthy, unbroken chain between the beginning, because obviously the same people, like, no one's going to be playing this game when they're, you know, if Halo somehow went on for hundreds of years, right? Yeah. People wouldn't be playing like 100 years after they're dead. At some point, new blood has to come in, but the new blood has to like respect the past and understand it as well as they can and build towards the future in a healthy and positive way.
Look at other games. Look at sports. You don't see them adding 50 yards to the goddamn football field. You don't see them fucking, flying around with jetpacks in the goddamn football field. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they've advanced the game, and then there's more technical things that they've added. There's equipment. Their helmets are a lot safer. Before, you used to walk around with no face mask and a goddamn leather fucking pilot's cap. That was actually safer. Yeah, but you hear what I'm saying?
It's more like rugby. Yeah.
But like they've evolved the football game, but it's still fucking football. It still has the same fucking kind of like base rules.
Yeah.
But
you still run a ball. Yeah.
You're running a ball. It's 100 yards. You got your downs. You kick the ball for the field goal. It's the same game. It's advanced, but it's the same game.
Yeah. And most successful sports follow the same protocol.
And for some reason with Halo, they feel like every time they make the game, they got to add a new fucking stupid fucking feature and add 50 yards to the football field and fucking run the ball out of bounds. And
imagine you're doing the new or you're doing the new Monopoly game.
Yeah, next thing you know, we're throwing. Next thing you know, we're snapping the ball. We got three quarterbacks throwing 3 footballs in 3 different directions. Like
whatever ball gets caught first is the real ball. The other ones disintegrate somehow.
Yeah. You got an orange ball and a blue ball, and like it's just like both teams have a ball. They're both throwing the pass at the same time and down the opposite. Right? For some reason with Halo they do this, and I'm just like, guys, you already have a winning recipe. Why do you think McDonald's still tastes the fucking same ever since you were as a child? Because when you got something, you don't try to fuck with it, man.
Imagine like this, right? This is how I look at Halo Infinite, and I just thought of this the other day, but baseball, right? You got bases loaded. You got a guy up at the plate, right? Boom, hits a line drive. It goes out into the outfield. The 4th base player gets the run, right? Now think of the new oddball system. In baseball, to reset the fucking oddball round is the equivalent of taking all 3 of those fucking potential players and resetting the baseball with no players on mound after getting that score.
Yep.
Yeah. Imagine if they played baseball like that, because that's what you're fucking doing with oddball.
This is something that I think we've spoken about before. The obsession with resets, though, is just like a modern design trend. And I wanted to talk about this too. Like there's like a counterintuitivity, if that's a word, in the way that modern designers make things, because they're so young that they'd never experienced like the old games.
Never experienced the good old-fashioned punishment, right? Yes. And so they reset the game because right when you feel the fist going up your ass and you're like halfway, you're like, oh, that's a little too deep. Hold on, let's reset this. But back in the day, we got the whole fucking elbow.
Well, it's because resets and upsets, which are caused a lot by resets, it was thought at one point, and it probably is true, it's why they still do it at EVO, is that a small number of rounds with a lot of resets increases viewership because it causes more upsets.
Fuck that.
So you just have a bunch of people that don't appreciate the game doing things.
Also, but this is why players' unions need to exist to prevent this kind of shit.
But that's why it started to come into games. I'm sure it's not like a conscious thing. I think that a lot of the people, that's what I was saying earlier, I'm old enough now that I'm probably older than a lot of the people that are making decisions at these sorts of games. And you guys obviously are too. So they might not have actually played a game where it's just like full-on ass beating for the whole game, like dig yourself out of the hole, idiot, here's a shovel kind of game design. That's why you have games like Warcraft 3 Dota and like the very early Dota 2 that was like a knife fight naked in a minefield. Like the whole game could just go sideways if you played like an idiot. There's so many blue shell mechanics, assist mechanics now to make the beating less severe.
Blue shell mechanics. Oh man.
Yeah.
Nerfing.
Man. That's a good word for that.
Better players.
Jesus. That's the whole point of Halo Infinite's aim, I feel like, on the controller aspect.
Probably, because it keeps changing the amount of aim assist that you have.
Did I tell you guys? Did you see that post I posted from the guy at the Zen
That would
Apex?
be me at 343, bro. That would be me at 343. I'm walking around the board meeting. I'm like, oh, there's something here that actually takes skill. Good. Make it even harder. Make it even harder to land that shot. Make it even more difficult to execute that whatever that movement is. Make it even harder, and like make everything fucking harder. Like that would be like a polar flip in the way everything is going now, and you would get this like cult-like following because people would realize, oh, I can't master this shit overnight. Playing the game and being good at the game, you still get
better a little bit each day. You could feel it.
Yeah, every day you get a little bit better. It's like playing the guitar. You're not going to master it overnight, but every day you get a little bit better.
Instead of missing 2 BR shots, you're missing 1.5, and you're hitting the other 2 out of the 3 in the last burst. And like each day you're hitting one more little bullet.
And now playing the game becomes the reward and not a reward for playing the game. Right? Yeah. And then when you do that, that's how you get player retention. That's how people start coming back and falling back in love with the game. People aren't in love with the game. They're in love with getting trinkets, rewards. Here, you completed a game. Here, have some fucking E points and go buy yourself an E visor and your fucking E fucking avatar, you know? And they think that by completing a task and getting a little dog treat for fucking completing the task, that's the reward. And the thing is people, you're going to lose people's retention by doing that. They're going to get over that. And we got to realize is don't give people a reward for completing a task. Have people get rewarded by playing the game and getting better at the game. And for some reason, like, I don't understand.
Timers are the exact epitome of that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Onyx, the epitome of that in the new
game.
Yeah. Well, look at the multi-kill timer. They give you an extra second every time. So, like, when we talked about this before, that one guy, like, hit a POC, dropped his fucking controller, played the Halo theme, threw his controller, picked up the goddamn his guitar, picked up the controller and hit the nair. You should not have 9-10 seconds to hit a fucking nair. No. Because you know how many fucking nairs I would have? Like, fuck.
Nairs
I could make a fucking 10-hour video hitting nairs if I had extra second.
Dude,
you know?
Big shout out to fucking Eli and Fat Rat and all these dudes that have, made all this Halo content with actual nairs, man. Like Fat Rat's still doing it, man, and he's a fucking badass. I've been DMing him recently. He's gonna start doing hand cam videos and shit.
Fucking goat.
He's really fucking good, man. We've been talking on DMs. He's giving me some tips.
Eli too. Shout out Eli too.
He's a really nice guy. He still makes Halo content for MCC, so check out Fat Rat, bro. And then Eli is super nice dude. He's playing a lot of Infinite still.
He actually just followed me the other day.
Who did?
Eli followed me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude. He's fucking Eli's great, dude. He still makes homages to Bo, like when he does his icicle shots on his stream and shit. I mean, guys. He knows the culture, you know. Yeah, he knows everybody. Like he knows that it's like
we're not going to talk about those other content creators that we're not going to name.
Well,
that aren't giving credit where credit's due.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the ones who know, they know, man, and that's cool, man. That's cool that he's shouting out Bo, because Bo's not the type of guy to ask for respect,
right?
You know. Yeah, he's not going to be like, "Hey guys, you gotta like."
But there should. I'm just going to say there are a few instances where he needs to be shown respect for, how much he's given, and some people use that without, giving credence too. But I digress.
Exactly. I digress. And, it's full circle what we talked about. Someone's even inspired by someone's content, like shout them out. There's no shame in that, If somebody has
everybody grows together with the franchise.
That's what the whole point is. Or if somebody has extensive knowledge in the competitive scene, be like, hey, big props to this person. I'm getting into it. There's, and the thing is you need that history, just like the old heads need the new players to come in and keep it going. Yeah. Like, I don't mind sharing my knowledge. I tell people everything. I don't have any secrets, because I'm trying to fill all these new gamers' heads filled with as much knowledge as I can, because my days are numbered, but they're coming up. Like, why not? Why lose all that knowledge? Pay it forward, and then hopefully they could take that knowledge, and then they can add to it, and then they could end up doing things that we never even imagined. So, and that's what it's all about. Like, I don't want to see the game
of giants. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's how all like amazing things are achieved, right? The generational thing. Mm-hmm. And you'll see when things go sideways, where it's like, as soon as you lose your connection to the past, you have no future. That's what I always say with this kind of shit. So I was saying in Warhammer for a long time, where it's like, you're kicking people out because their shit is fucking painted in the old schemes. You're now not kissing the ring, and you now have no future. And the fucking stock price of Games Workshop is falling like crazy right now. Because people don't care.
Footballs and have extra 50 yards on the field.
Well, triangle what you're saying about the reward of just playing the game is really true, because think about how many people in Halo Infinite get Onyx because they made it too easy to keep player retention high. Guess what? It keeps player retention low, because they get Onyx, they realize it's so easy, and then they just leave. They just stop playing.
You're like, I got Onyx. I've hit the pinnacle. I've peaked. I've hit the pinnacle. I have Onyx.
The game.
The number one.
The game.
I beat the game. I've got Onyx.
I win. You didn't beat the game, bro.
I have validated. I have checked off my validation. I am at the highest level of Halo Infinite gameplay. I am Onyx, right?
The game's not like photogenic enough though to like make a montage, even if theater worked properly though. So what else can you really do? It's a reward-based game with no rewards. Like,
ask anybody about Halo Infinite. Be like, hey, what do you think of Halo Infinite? The number one thing that they're going to tell you is, oh, I got Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
Well, statistically, that's like the second biggest rank. So yes, I'd hope that they did.
Yeah, but that is like, I ask people like, hey, did you play Infinite? They're like, yeah, I got Onyx. And that's the end of the conversation. It's not like, oh man, have you played Infinite? Dude, the sniping mechanics, dude, I hit this crazy fucking clip. Oh my God, it was so fucking clutch. I was like gripping the edge of my seat. No, it's just, I got Onyx.
I hit a double ninja.
And like, that's it. That's not even hitting a clip. It's just like, I got Onyx. Like, that's the extent of my Halo Infinite conversation with anybody who's played the game. There's nothing to talk about. It's one dimensional. You hit the Onyx, and then what? And then you shut the game off, and because you've been validated. You got your.
There's no other rank systems for BTB. There's no snipers. There's nothing.
Why don't they just reskin the Onyx medal to a participation trophy and just start handing them out? And everyone can be like, look, I participated.
Well, you aren't participating anymore once you got the trophy. So it's like, it's pointless.
Yeah, there's no incentive.
Even like shit games like Halo 4. One of my friends, actually my best friend, who I play Halo with a lot. Like the first time I ever talked to him about Halo, we started talking about like, we made all these Forge maps, and we're like showing each other like montages and shit. He's got like gameplays downloaded on his phone that he was like showing me at school, like playing Good Kids. Like we all looked at like the stats and the leaderboards and shit. I don't think we ever talked about ranks. Ever.
Yeah.
Like it was so irrelevant. It's like, oh, look at this crazy snipe that I got. Sick.
Yeah. Exactly. Because it wasn't about that. Like, you could.
That was part of it. It might come up in a conversation, but like you talk about everything else too. People used to talk about the campaign.
Super bounces that you've hit.
Super bounces.
Getting out of maps.
Oh, I'm in this clan. You should come play with me. Like all these things that either aren't in the game or aren't functional or aren't retaining people now. It's depressing.
Yeah. Yep.
Because even like the shittiest, I'm sure everyone did like a clan tryout at some point on some Halo game, right? Or like a team tryout that you realize is just not a good fit for you, right? But even like shit kids that I've talked to like during those, like they want to show you all their theater clips. They got Forge maps. They want to play matchmaking, like something. It's more than just like, I have a 50. Like a lot of people in Halo 3 had a fucking 50. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Like what did you
do? And Halo 3 was like a little bit worse than Halo 2. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Like, yeah, you got a 50. Okay. Yeah. Well, what did you do? Well, what do you mean? What did I do? I got my 50. Yeah, but what did you do in the game? Like, did you do anything?
Oh yeah, I traded beatdowns over and over until I hit a guy in the back and I won.
I grabbed the new combo and I curled up in the fetal position and I stared at a hallway for 500 gigs. But like, did you get better at the game? No, I just played like a bitch and got my 50, and then I shut off my Xbox because I was afraid that if I ever like lost a game on my 50, I'd lose my 50 . So
I never
game
played
over.
On it.
That could be. I think it could just be a function of Halo not being like that alive anymore because, like I still have friends who play Counter-Strike Go and shit for some reason. I'd shoot myself if I had to play that anymore. But you know, even when we talk about that game, it's like nobody talks about getting global lead or rank whatever on Faceit or something like that. They're always sending me like, "Oh, I'm playing in a tournament. Do you want to watch it? It's on Twitch." Yeah. "Oh, I did this. Check out this clip that I got." Like things that actually have to do with just playing the game.
Hell yeah.
Like it's check out the smoke grenade that I can throw. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm switching roles on my team. I'm using the sniper now. Like that kind of shit is so much more mentally stimulating than just like, oh, I got this rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it just shows me how much you care about the game. Not at all, right?
You know, you're just validation seeking. Like, and if you want that, I mean, just go on Instagram or something. I mean, you don't even have to play the game. Like,
post your clips if you're good, kid. Deal with it that way.
I mean, I don't know, man. The kids are funny, man. This whole world's funny. I haven't related to the world in a long time, man.
Like, I guess that's true. I guess part of it too could be the fact that there was like no LAN events and shit like right when Infinite came out. So maybe it just hasn't developed that culture yet. Maybe it never will. Maybe it would have if.
Well, if you also notice, as the world has been shifting into consumer products, skins, ranks, validation. Something else interesting that has happened right besides that laterally, and that is the rise of social media. And if you look at the time frame of when this culture started shifting in gaming, you also look at socially, we also started shifting at the exact same time. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they run side by side the way they do. I think a lot of culture, a lot of gaming has been shaped now by social media and by the culture that we're in now.
Yeah,
and that's
internet
why
culture instead of real life culture.
Exactly. So, you know, they're like, well, this is what the consumer wants. This is what
just because they want something doesn't
needs.
mean they should have it. It's like they're like kids, man.
That definitely is what led to the alone together phenomenon, right? In video games, where everyone's like playing in private parties and stuff, and there's not that sense of like cohesion. I think I talked about this before when we were playing like FFA or something, but on other video games, like past video games, like 90s and early 2000s, you had to there was some sort of like a social contract almost, obviously another tortured phrase that's been overused poorly for a long time, about like behavior and things. And you had to engage with people and you had to respect them and support them, even if you were like adversaries in the game, even if you were talking shit to each other, because there might not be anyone else to play with. There were so few people playing like first-person shooter games in the 90s and stuff. And that carried over to the next generation of people that were playing in the 2000s when it's like you have that great culture, but millions of people online. Now people just take it for granted that you can find a match on matchmaking whenever, so you don't have to talk on the mic, you don't have to do anything. And because of that, you know, the Xbox 360 generation, the next thing that was birthed from that was like the alone together games where it's like all party matching, like Overwatch or PvEVP experiences like you'd see in Destiny and stuff like that. That is because of social media, I think, for sure. Or like just the proliferation of matchmaking systems and stuff in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is part of it. I think it'll be interesting, you know, if the world doesn't collapse, to see if I was talking about interest rates with somebody who's researching economics, and how having very low interest rates like increases narcissism and makes people like live only for like the brief fleeting moment that they're in. And I was thinking that could be part of it too. This a generation of people has been like affected by consumer products in that way, affected by the economy in that way to behave weirdly.
Because of low interest rates?
Yes.
Now, would you say that parallels with like royalty money and stuff that we see behaviorally in other countries that have that?
What do you mean? Like,
well, living lavish lifestyles with low interest rates, like in Saudi Arabia, they don't allow high rates for money loans and things. Like it's very, very low. And is there not a dual effect with that though? When like you have that easy money payment back system, that business that you invested in thrives faster though?
This is just something that I was bringing up. I'm not going to pretend like I'm super educated on it.
Shit.
However, what I've been told, and what I've
thriving on a business. Are you talking about using this money for like a business loan, or are you talking about using it?
If you're talking, so are you talking about zero rate?
Well, it would be consumer level
zero
interest
houses,
loan. I'm assuming because that's the biggest asset a person would buy.
Yeah, I was going to say people are. That's what's leading to like the huge real estate bubble that we have. That's leading to people purchasing a shitload of consumer products just to receive validation. It's having super, super low interest rates. Whereas if you have higher interest rates, people
are writing a check with their ass that they're fucking, people are writing a check that their ass can't cash, people are borrowing money that they have. People don't think about the bottom line, about how much they're actually borrowing or what that number is. They just see the payment number. And I know this from sales, is as long as you can get somebody to walk out the door with a payment that they're comfortable with, you can have that debt go forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I tell you that,
but
I'll sell
if
you
have them pay it off faster,
I could
they'll
sell you
get
this
more loans quicker.
item. I could sell you this $20,000 item, but if I tell you that you're only going to pay me $50 a week, then you'll be like, oh yeah, I could do $50.
But here,
you don't see $20,000.
The problem with that is though, like even like they'll charge a tax on that rate that is so high that the payment plan over the longevity of the loan is actually not as good for the economy because you're preventing future growth from hindering that final payment out before they can get another loan. So let's say they have one business loan and that business takes a year to develop, right? And they still have to pay another half year's worth of just interest, right? If instead they had a low area, maybe just like a year and a month, then they would be able to get a second business going while having the first loan paid off. They still would have made their money, and that branching expansion becomes faster and faster.
That's where the magic of rolling your debt comes in, though, because people could be like, "Oh yeah, I got a house loan, but I just rolled my my old loan into my new place."
Here's the question:
I traded my car in that I've got 10 years of car payments on.
Well, here's the real question: who should be responsible for that default?
Well, technically, you're not defaulting. You're just rolling it into a new debt.
Well, who's going to be responsible for not collecting on that, though? Think about it. At the end of the day, it's the banks that are taking that L from that loan, right?
Well, but all that money is all digital. They just type it in a keyboard.
No, that's the problem, though. Here's what I'm saying is that when these banks default, they're protected by the government with FDIC insurance, and they will inflate the fucking currency to allow these big like fuck-ups of businesses to continue existing or continuing to get huge loans at huge interest rates. And then the next thing you know, we have a huge fucking recession and the dollar's not buying shit. Weed's going up. Don't even get me started about weed prices in international markets.
It's our dollar is designed to do that.
No, well, it's programmed to do that, but it was designed originally to prosper a newfound land.
You're talking about the gold standard, bro.
No, I'm talking about the version of money before colonial script. I'm talking about when they only this is how world powers come into existence in short periods of time is because they don't screw the population over with debt.
That's how the whole Bitcoin shit came about. But we're about to slide way off of Halo and go to economics.
Yeah, so I was trying to divert this.
Well, this is what Microsoft needs to do with their fucking money. That's what I think. They need to stop.
We're solving world problems.
This is a world problem. It's the world's biggest video game company. This is Microsoft.
Yeah, world's biggest video game company.
This is macroeconomics.
We can't even get Halo 2 custom games to work. How in the fuck are we gonna fix the world?
Dude, but that's where it starts, and people don't understand. Once you fix the crown and the glory, then it branches off into everything else that is Microsoft.
I have that philosophy actually about everything. Trying to like put this back into Halo though, I always get frustrated when people fuck up on like the little things that don't matter, that you'd be very easily able to make at least functional. And that actually builds up like a whole chain of competency to like the highest level. When somebody fucks up geopolitics and like blows up Iraq, I'm like, okay, there were so many moving parts that it was essentially random in a lot of those stages. I'm sure some of it was planned, but yeah, I can understand that mistake. It's a very high pressure situation. When somebody gives me the wrong food at McDonald's, like then that's when I get angry, because you should be getting like things that are easy, right? You should look at the market when you're making the Halo game. Like, okay, what's the one that sold the most? Oh, Halo 3 and Halo 2. Which ones kept the most people? Oh, Halo 3 and Halo Reach because they had a robust online system. Okay, and just try to copy that.
They won't.
Like there you go. You
won't.
don't have to fuck up the shit.
They want to be known for their creation because they're 343 Industries and they are Halo. Bonnie Ross said she invented Halo. Don't forget that.
But do you see what I mean? Like if Microsoft like mismanaged all their money and which they never will because they're owned by State Street and Vanguard, but if they somehow mismanaged all of their money and went bankrupt through like a series of weird financial maneuvers, I'd be like, okay, well, that's hard. Business is hard. But making another Halo game, it's like people already kind of done that for you. It's not like you're trying and fucking up. Like you just have no idea what you're doing. And that's why I get like almost confused about it.
Yeah. Well, it's pride and it's ego, and they want to be known for their creation and not somebody else's. It's all it comes down to, and they're willing to drive this franchise into the dirt to do so, because that's pride becomes before downfall, man. And every year they promise us next time is going to be better, and every year it's the same shit, and nobody's buying it, man. No one's buying your fucking lie. No one's buying your horseshit fucking game. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, literally, I haven't spent a cent on that game.
The only thing
I've spent more money on COD.
The only thing that pulls any kind of crowd in there is that you dangle $1 million carrot in front of everyone for tournaments every time a new fucking Halo title comes out, a 343 tournament. They're like, hey, look, guys, we got $1 million tournament. And everyone's like, oh, so hyped. Hashtag Halo is back. I'm like, it's not back. You guys are just fucking sluts for that money, I was like, that's all it really is. You don't give a fuck about the game. You just want to win $1 million real quick.
Or the quality of the game and how it plays, aims,
and snipe down to the boys. Just start Ola and snipe down on all the boys. They all show up, and they're all like VIP at all these events to take that money, or whoever the fuck else is. My boy Penguin won it this last one, but
I'm surprised that Lethal.
As soon as the money is gone, the game just goes like this.
Yeah,
like straight out of the fucking air, man.
Yep.
Because nobody actually cares about the game. They just want to get that tournament money, and then they're out.
I'm really surprised that Lethal didn't catch more flack. It was a couple months ago when he was talking about like that BTB event. That event's literally just like free money to keep the pro scene like on life support, right? Because if you show up to play the BTB, you get some amount of money. It's kind of like what Super Smash Bros. Was doing for a while, where like to get big players to the tournament, to keep the tournament alive, they had to pay the big players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they were doing that, and Lethal wasn't invited to be on like the BTB. So he was like, yeah, I guess I just won't show up and get given free however much money it was.